Hey everybody, welcome back to my show, Terry's Tribe. I am your host, Terry Wells Brown, writing under the pen name T. Wells Brown. I am the author of the Women of Wine Country series with my 5th book coming out the end of September, so get ready. It's fantastic. And don't forget, the 4th book is available for free right now on my author page, T. Wells Brown on Facebook, or you can go join my reader group, Terry's Tribe, and grab it there for free. But today I'd love to introduce the amazing author I'm interviewing. Words are hard, I'm an author. Michelle Ventura. She has like an amazing author name. Isn't that great? Michelle Ventura. So she is a romantic suspense author that I actually am collaborating with a bunch of other authors, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the interview. So welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thank you. Hi, Terry. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So it took a little bit for us to get this going. We've been stumbling around a little bit, I must say.
Yeah, the internet is so unreliable, isn't it?
Well, especially when you're over 50 and you're trying to navigate it.
True that.
Well, I got to say, I love your background. We were just talking about, she has some iconic photographs from Lake Tahoe, which is where all of her books are based so far, right?
Yes.
And you currently have 2 books out. The first one is Truth or Dare, and then the second one is When Lightning Strikes. So you want to tell us a little bit about the first book?
Well, okay, so the first book was actually When Lightning Strikes. It was published second, but it was the first book that I wrote. And it was set in the Desolation Wilderness. I went to a little resort town called Angora Lakes, and I was so inspired by the lakes and the little cabins and the view that I decided to write a book. And I took a picture, which was my inspiration, and that was before all of this technology that we're so well versed in. I still have that picture.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
I actually wrote it. I started it before my son was born, so more than 20 years.
Wow.
So it took some revision to bring it up to date, which is why Truth or Dare was published first, because that was ready.
Yeah, I understand. I have my first book ended up being my 3rd book, so I get it. I get how that works. So kind of what happened? Tell us what happened and why there was a 20-year gap from writing your first book to finally publishing your first book, which was not actually your first book, but you know.
So 20 years ago, there was, I'm not even sure if online self-publishing existed.
Right.
I had my book out to agents and I had someone interested, and they asked me to do some rewrites, and 6 months, it was 6 months that I had been doing rewrites. I submitted it. I get word that she would like me to do some rewrites and resubmit it, and I started a new job. And my son was 4 at the time, and life just happened, and football happened, and he played football for 15 seasons, and there was just no time for me. So, yeah, I finally pulled it out.
Yeah. Well, and so many authors, so many people who write never publish. I mean, the majority of people who write don't publish. It's kind of crazy when you come to those facts and you see that, the statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're happy that you did publish, my friend.
Thank you.
So the first book, though, is Truth or Dare. The first book that everybody knows that you've published is Truth or Dare. And I'm looking at the pictures behind you, and I recognize the top photograph. And that's the cover of Truth or Dare.
Yes, that was the photograph that inspired me on the cover, yes.
It's beautiful. It's stunning.
Here's the cover. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, we can see it. That is gorgeous. You've got to be really happy with that cover.
So I am. I had a couple of versions of it, which again is the beauty of self-publishing. You can change stuff. Yeah. You have to draw the line though at some point and stop changing and just go with it.
Well, that's a fact, and you'll always tweak it because it'll never be perfect, right? Because perfection is an illusion. There's really no perfection.
There isn't.
Yeah, and your perfection is one day is not the same perfection that is the next day. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I do have to say though, when lightning strikes, this cover was my first go around and I love it. I'm very happy with this one.
Yeah,
So,
it's really pretty. I really like it. So tell us, are those a series?
they are not. They are standalone. However, they do have characters that mingle, and you'll see them in my upcoming release. You'll see some of the same characters in that as well.
So is your upcoming release, is that a standalone as well?
It is a standalone as well. It's a novella. It really is actually intended to be the launch of the characters, not necessarily a series, but the launch of these characters. And in my next Dare book, which is the second in the series, because the Dare series is probably something that you'll see me continue with. One of the characters from Truth or Dare is the main character in the next Dare book. So,
cool.
yes.
That's great. So for those of you who would like to see more of Michelle's iconic, beautiful Tahoe pictures, she posts some amazing photography. Go check her out on Facebook. She's got an author page. She posts her beautiful photography there. And then as well, she has a reader group, Darling Divas.
Michelle's Daring Divas.
Thank you. Wow, I had it. Like, words really are hard to me for me. I said it earlier, and now I can't say it. Jeez, but yeah,
some days are like that.
I know. So go check her out. She's amazing, and her photographs alone are just incredible. Her stories are fabulous, but it's really cool when you read the stories, but then you get the visual of all of the places that she's writing about. So it's really great, and everybody loves Tahoe. It's just such a beautiful place.
That's true.
So tell me, what is your genre that you're writing in?
Romantic suspense. All of the books have a level of suspense in them for sure. Lightning is definitely more suspense driven. Truth or Dare is a little bit steamier. Well, no, a lot steamier. Which is my preferred writing. I like to write the steam. I like the sizzle and the suspense to go with it though. So everything I write will have a combination of those things. My dream was to write erotica. I've stepped back from that a little bit. I may dabble in that again at some point, but right now I'm sticking with the romantic suspense.
Well, it's a big genre. There's a lot of readers out there, but there's a lot of readers out there for erotica and a lot of things. So, I mean, I think whatever you go into, you're going to just do really well, really, really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear more about the sequel to the Dare, right? What's the third book that you've got coming out, your novella?
The novella is actually Playing with Fire.
Okay.
It was actually inspired by my sister when she was on a business trip. And something happened and I got this wild idea to write a story about it. And I started the story and then I got stuck. And as you know, writer's block is just an ugly thing that we struggle with. And the characters wouldn't talk to me. I didn't know where to go with it. And I wanted it to be fun and flirty and sexy. And it just stopped talking to me. And so it sat for a while. I resurrected it. I finished it. I just got feedback from a beta reader that she could tell where I was stuck because I pushed through to get to the end too quickly. So great feedback, and I will hopefully this afternoon fix that. And my goal was to have it pre-ordered ready for September 1st. I'm hoping to make that goal.
Oh, good for you. That's great. Don't you love beta readers? I mean, they're just so amazing.
Yes. We're so close to it that we have to have other eyes. You've got to have other eyes because we miss, it's the forest through the trees, right? You can't see it because we're too close.
We know the story. We see the story on the pages. We don't see the words anymore. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I got it. I had the same experience with my third book. I thought I was moving along pretty well, but I had a bad guy that I didn't really like very much, so I didn't want to write about him. And I had a beta reader come back and say, so what's going on with the bad guy? And I was like, oh, so it totally changed the whole structure of my book, which made it so much better. So I get it. Beta readers are important. So
Hi,
what's
Bella,
your
come
favorite
here.
genre to read in? When you're not writing, what are you reading?
You know, romantic suspense, erotica. I read a lot of other books. Like I read a lot of like John Gordon writes fabulous books on just positivity and leadership and things like that. So Bren Brown has written a book called Daring Greatly about vulnerability. So I read a lot of things like that.
A lot of
I've learned,
then.
I'm sorry?
A lot of nonfiction books then.
Nonfiction, yeah. I read a lot of different things. I have a very eclectic book collection. So, and I've given away a lot of them. I've learned not to hang on to them. Unless they really are powerful, you know, we carry too much baggage in our lives already. We need to let it go. So that's been my philosophy lately.
So tell me, since you started writing, or not started writing, you decided to publish later in life, just like I did. What was the thing that propelled you to say, you know what, now's the time, I'm going to get this book out here and this is what I'm going to do?
So, wow. You know, that the one thing that I've learned in the last couple of years is you have to let stuff go. And sorry, I had a loss of a friendship. Don't know why, still to this day, don't know why. It was a 14-year friendship. And I realized something about myself at that moment, and that was that I had been living someone else's life and not my own. So I had been making efforts to get my books ready to go, and then I just stopped. I wasn't really taking it that seriously. And when that friendship ended, I really kind of withdrew into myself and just really started focusing on what was important to me and what I wanted in my life. And so I dusted off the books and I took it seriously and I focused and I set goals for myself and I got it done. So, you know, they say when one door closes, lots of other doors open, and that is so true. Yes. It's been an interesting journey. The Dare book that I'm working on right now, I have not come up with a name for it. I'm struggling with the name. And I think it's because right now it's about me releasing some things that I need to let go of in my life, especially with respect to someone that I was in love with who hurt me. And it's been really good because he's the bad guy in the book.
Isn't that fantastic? We get to murder and slay and
yes,
and kill and do all of these nasty things to people that have upset us over our lifetime, right? Which for you and I is a long time.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving the new Dare book because I wanted to write about online dating. I've been single for a little while, so it's been a very interesting road. And so I'm finally getting an opportunity to insert some of those experiences into a book. So I think it's going to be fun and enlightening for those single folks out there.
Yeah, that sounds great. I can't wait to get my hands on it. That's going to be amazing. So really you have a couple of books coming out then. You have your novella, which is Playing with Fire.
Yes.
And then you have the second addition to the Dare series. So you've got a couple of things happening right now.
Yes, I'm almost halfway through the second Dare book, so that's going to be a little while. Once I get Fire done, I can really focus on it. So hopefully before the end of the year, my goal is November, that second Dare book comes out.
That's awesome.
Because November, we're having a big party because there's a lot of writer friends that have birthdays in November. So
Right.
and new releases, I believe.
And in November, we have a conference that we're going to. Are you still going to the 20 Books to 50K conference?
I am planning to. I haven't canceled my reservation. I just haven't made hotel reservations yet, but I will get on that.
Yeah,
Hopefully we can go.
Yeah, you should take a look at what they're doing because they're going to keep it going. But like Sam's Town, where we're staying, they are cutting the amount of people that are allowed to stay there. So right now they're already overbooked again. So it's been weird. It's kind of back and forth. But who knows in November what's going to happen, right?
I know. Yeah.
So let's segue away from that for a minute. People who don't write and haven't published, or people who haven't published, don't understand what an amazing, life-changing thing it is to hold your own work in your hands.
Yeah.
So especially to be in your 50s and to, I think what happened, which you've expressed to me, is that you had a life-changing event, the loss of a friendship, that kind of propelled you forward in your own life, and you kind of had nothing left to lose. You put your books out. I had a medical situation that I recovered from, and I had nothing left to lose. So people don't understand that sometimes we can use these potentially negative, life-changing events to propel us and have something amazing come from it. And I happen to know that your authoring is just amazing, and that you have big things coming in the next few years, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you can be a strong writer unless you have emotional intelligence. I mean, it's hard to translate the emotion of life. And I think what we all want as writers is for our readers to laugh and cry and feel the emotion that we're trying to impart. And when I saw my first review on Amazon, it was a fun, emotional read. I was like, yes, I did it. This is what I wanted. I wanted to touch people at that level. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it really is. So tell me, how long does it typically take you to write a book?
Well, if we go by lightning, 20 years. No.
So that's your authoring.
I don't really know, because life gets in the way. If I were writing full time and didn't have a day job, I could probably get a book written in a couple of months. Because if you put that level of energy into it that you put into a day job, it's amazing how many words you can get down.
Yeah.
However, when those characters aren't speaking to you because they're mad for some reason, that is a true struggle. And that's when I switch gears and try to work on a different story. Like, for example, we have an upcoming series that we're collaborating on. And so if I just can't get words moving in Dare, or recently Playing with Fire, I would just kind of jot down notes for that, or just kind of binge watch TV or read other things to give me ideas for the next book, because that will be my next one. When I finish Dare, I will be working on my lust character.
So for those of you who are interested in what we're talking about, we are collaborating with 4 other authors on a Sisters of Sin collaboration, which will be a series of 9 books and several short stories. So 3 of us are writing 2 stories each, and then 3 authors are writing one book each, and they're based on they're female assassins, so it's assassin and espionage and all the thing. There's an overarching storyline that runs the span of the series, and then each of the sisters has their own story and book and thing that's going on. It's still the romantic suspense genre, but it's kind of a femme fatale genre, I guess, or subgenre, I guess is a better way to say it. So it's really exciting, and I'm doing the same thing that you're doing, Michelle. When I get stuck on my Grief or Greed or one of my other books, I go right on either my fantasy or on that. So I get it. So my first book is Vanity, and then Michelle, where do you fall? Are you number 4?
I don't remember because we had some changes. So I think,
You might
how many total do we have? 9?
be 4, because it's me, Dawn, Ivy, and I think you're next.
I thought I followed Sophia. I don't know. I thought I was 7.
Maybe you do. Okay, maybe you do. I'm so sorry, but you've got less. So you've got the
I have
good
less.
one for you. So
I am so
left
excited.
to write erotica.
Yes, this is going to be a fun, definitely have some sizzle in it. Yeah, I may have to kill off some other ex-boyfriends too.
I love it. I love it. So what's the character's name in Lust?
So her name, right now, her name is Zoe McKnight.
Ooh, I like that name, Zoe McKnight.
Yeah, so I say right now because we had a different version of, or a different order of sisters, and I was going to be a different sister, and so that name fit, but I really like it. So I think Lust is going to stay Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe's a great name, Zoe McKnight. I mean, that's actually kind of a perfect name for Lust, isn't it?
I think so.
I do too. I like it. I'm excited. I'm excited to get those going.
Yes.
So you've got a novella coming out September 1st, you hope, fingers crossed, right?
Yes.
And then you're hoping to have your second installment of the Dare series out in, did you say November?
Yes, November is my hope.
That's great. How exciting. And
then I might throw in a short story. Another novella. I've just been kind of dancing around another idea, so we'll see. It depends on how quickly I can finish Dare. I don't want to overwhelm myself, but I want to get to the SOS book. I really want to get moving on that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So tell me, I want to go back to your first books that are out. What is your research process? How do you research your characters?
The researching, my characters kind of build themselves. And I've got to tell you that the days of writing, the 20 years ago, writing is so different than today because Google is my best friend. I consult the Google all day long. And so that is primarily where I get my information, is if I have a question on how would this work or is this realistic, I Google it. And I hope everything on Google is true.
Well, don't worry. I took a class from a real police officer who was a forensic officer, and he said most of the stuff that people write about on TV and in novels was not correct, but that we should keep doing what we're doing because it's way more interesting what we're doing, what we're saying they do than what they actually do. So,
it's funny because years ago, I actually interviewed a detective for the El Dorado County Sheriff's Department in South Lake Tahoe. I mean, he was kind enough to give me some of his time. And so my character in When Lightning Strikes is loosely based on that detective.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think that for me, I've taken little bits and pieces of people, but there's no one person I base everything on. It's usually a combination of multiple people that I think will fit together and make this character, better.
Yeah, I think I modeled, for example, in Truth or Dare, the characters, Riley Snow is the main character and her best friend, Beth. My childhood best friend's name was Beth. And so the relationship between them is really kind of driven by, that bond that women have.
Yeah.
Especially lifelong friends.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the relationship between them is very fun and very natural. And so, you glean things from different relationships, whether it is a true friend or you see other people who have this amazing friendship. And I mean, you have to pull from experience.
Yeah.
There is no substitute for that. So
I think some of the romance, I've always read romance. I love fantasy. I love all kinds of books, but The books that I'm most attracted to and the ones that I find myself rereading are the ones that have strong female relationships. I want a love story because I just love love, right? But the strong female relationship stories are always my ones that I'll go back and reread and reread. And those are the ones that I hang on to, kind of like what you're saying, holding on to the books.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me, who is your favorite author? Who do you like to read?
Oh gosh, that has changed so much over the years. I don't really have an answer for that. I was inspired. I loved Iris Johansen. I went through a phase. She wrote the Eve Duncan series. Loved her books. The more erotic writers, the Maya Banks, and even Laurie Foster has written some more erotica-driven suspense books or romance books. Lots of different ones. Like I said, I have a very eclectic book collection.
So you like to spread it out. You haven't got one that you're so you're your own favorite author then. You're writing the books you want to read.
Writing the books that I want to read. Yes. I guess that is a good way to say it. You know, Nora Roberts, I have a collection. Like I said, I got rid of a lot of books. 2 collections I did not get rid of were Nora Roberts series. One of them was the 3 sisters. I think they were witches.
Was that the time travel series or the time?
I don't know. Dance Upon the Air was one of them.
I don't remember that one. I've read so many of her books, and she's got so
right.
many.
I know.
Yeah, the stories merge together for me sometimes.
Yeah, Nora Roberts, Sandra Brown. I mean, I've been inspired by so many authors over the years. So, and then I love Dan Brown. I mean, I love the historical, religious, controversial books, and that with the archaeology and stuff in them. So again, I read a whole lot of different stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. A good story is a good story, regardless of the genre. And we're all in different moods, just like we're all in different moods to watch different TV shows or movies. We're all in different moods to read.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Exactly.
That's good for you. So you take a little bit of everything and put them in your books.
I do.
That's cool.
I do. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I actually was in my garage cleaning out my garage, trying to thin out my life and get rid of the clutter. And I opened a box that, how it got into the garage, I don't know, because I never would have put it there. So I will blame, I won't even blame anyone. I'll just leave that. So I opened this binder, and in this binder is a book called Sinister Desire.
Ooh.
I don't remember writing it, but it's a complete book. So at some point in the next 6 months, I will start dusting that off and reading it and determining whether or not it's worth rewriting and publishing. And I think we talked about this recently, that there's a couple of authors out there who the very first book they wrote got like tossed aside.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the pivotal book that skyrocketed their career. So I don't know, maybe that will be the one for me.
There you go. I love it. That's good for you. So you wrote that book back when you were writing and printing things out and not on a computer, right? Because I remember seeing a picture of the manuscript.
Yes. I think I have a those old, like, I don't think it's a floppy disk, but it might've been called that, with that manuscript on it, and in an old file in my laptop, I think is that book. I haven't looked yet. And I don't know if the file is corrupt. I might have to have it recovered. So I don't know, but that's what happened. Ironically, with Truth or Dare, I had started that book, a few years ago, and I couldn't open the document, and I had to have my brother-in-law actually was able to recover it for me. So that I pulled that out and kind of revamped that story and got it up and going. So, I don't know why 20 years ago I didn't publish all these books.
20 years
I
ago,
was
you had to go
writing.
through the gatekeepers, 20 years ago, you couldn't just write your own book and become your own, publishing company. So
Yeah,
now things are a lot different. Thank goodness, right?
right. Well, and I don't know the story. I think the stories, um, I don't know how good they were. I mean, I had to rewrite them. I had to like start over with, I kind of took some of the ideas from them, but they're much better now.
Good. Yeah, they're great. Your books are great. They're fantastic. They get great reviews. They're doing really well. I love them. I'm excited to collaborate with you on the new series, the Sisters of Sin series.
Yes.
Well, this is taking us to our end, and like I said, it's just a couple of girlfriends chatting. So this wasn't too painful for you, was it?
No, it wasn't. I don't know if I was looking at the camera or at you, and that's kind of odd. But
Don't worry about it. Everybody's used to it when they see these kinds of things. So finally, let's remind everybody where they can get your books.
my books are currently on Amazon. They are available on Apple Books and Kobo and Barnes and Noble. Although I am Playing with Fire will probably be exclusive to Amazon.
So will you then put it into KU?
Yes.
Good for you. That'll be good. I've been very successful, and I know I was one of the big proponents of not being exclusive to Amazon, but it's worked out really well for me. So
Yeah, I've considered pulling my books back. It's too much.
so much work.
Too much. Yes. I'd rather write. We get caught up in all the details of all of the other stuff and we're not writing. And
Exactly.
that's hard for us because that's what we want to do. That's
Right.
how we want to spend our time.
Exactly. I always tell everybody the writing is the easy part. The rest of it is hard.
Yes. The formatting.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're going to be a pro at it by the time you get through this, because you just like any possible thing that could go wrong, you've had to deal with it and learn your workaround.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You're coming up with stuff where I'm like, I never had that happen. So
yeah, well, I need a teenager with that chromosome, that IT chromosome, because I certainly don't possess it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll have your website up soon and you get do you have a newsletter? So if people wanted to get on your newsletter list, are they able to do that yet? Or are you strictly on Facebook right now?
Right now, I'm just, and those are the things that I get bogged down with and overwhelmed, and choosing to just hold off on that at the moment. But that will be forthcoming.
So if they want to get a hold of you, they're telling me I'm getting some notices that my internet is unstable. So I'm just going to kind of wrap this up with, if they want to get a hold of you, then they can find your books on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Google Play. Are you on Google Play?
Yes. Google Play, Apple Books.
Kobo and Apple Books. And if they want to get a hold of you and follow you, go like your Facebook page. Michelle Ventura Author, I think, is the name of your Facebook page. And then tell me Michelle's Daring Divas is the name of your reader group. And it's so flippin' fun. I'm in it. It's amazing. And
so yes, if you can private message me your email address and I will collect them and I will get you added to my newsletter group as soon as I get that up and running.
Fantastic. Good for you. Well, thanks for being on the show, Michelle. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So that wraps up this edition of Terry's Tribe. I'm really glad that you watched. If you have any questions, no problem getting a hold of me. You can always reach me at twellsbrown@gmail.com. Go sign up for my newsletter at womenofwinecountry.com. And of course, my books are all in Kindle Unlimited. Until next time, thanks for viewing. Bye-bye.